Have you ever felt like a ghost in your own life? You are there, but you are not. You are smiling. You are nodding. You are playing the part, but the real you is nowhere to be found. We live in an age of disconnection, not just from each other, but from ourselves. We've built lives that look correct from the outside, but on the inside, we feel inauthentic. We feel stuck. We feel like we are wearing a costume that is getting heavier every single day. The great philosopher and psychologist Carl Jung had a name for this. He said that in order to be normal, to fit into society, we are forced to split ourselves in two. First, there is the persona. This is the part of you that is approved by the program. It is the good employee, the nice friend, the polite son. It is the mask we wear. It is the character we play in the simulation. And then, there is everything else. The 90% of you that was disapproved of, this Jung called the shadow. We've been taught that the shadow is our dark side, the part of us that is evil, selfish, angry, and wrong. We've been told to fight it, to repress it, to be ashamed of it. But what if that is the greatest lie we've ever been told? To understand the shadow, we must go back to this subconscious programming, the first 7 years of life. A flashback shows a very young Thomas, around age 5, excitedly telling a story at a dinner table. He is loud and passionate, full of vibrant energy. In this state, we are not analyzing. We are downloading the rules of our simulation. As children, we are 100% whole. We are passionate, angry, loud, messy, joyful, and sad. We are everything. But the program teaches us this is not acceptable. We are taught, don't be angry. Don't be so loud. Don't be so sensitive. Don't be selfish. Big boys don't cry. To survive, to be loved and accepted by the program, we make a choice. We disown those parts of ourselves. We split. But here is the secret. We didn't lock away our weakness. We locked away our power. We locked away our genius. We locked away our boundaries. We locked away our authenticity. And now, as an adult, we are only living with 10% of ourselves. We are running the acceptable persona, while 90% of our power, our code, is locked in the basement. But here's the problem. The shadow does not stay locked. It wants to be integrated. It wants to come home. So, it starts knocking. This knocking is your triggers. That sudden, irrational rage, that is not a flaw. That is your disowned power. Your boundaries, screaming to be heard. That intense, painful jealousy, that is not bad. That is your disowned ambition and genius, showing you what you are capable of, what you have suppressed. That deep apathy and laziness you can't shake, that is your disowned presence, your soul, screaming at you to stop running the productivity program and just be. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is the ghost of your real self. It is the NPC code of your past, running on a loop. But it holds the key to you becoming the player. We have been taught to fear the dark. But the deep thought is this: the dark is not empty. It is full. It is a quantum archive of your greatest power. You are not stuck. You are incomplete. You are not inauthentic. You are out of alignment with your own hidden power. To become whole, we must stop fighting the shadow. And we must, for the first time, have the courage to listen to it. We must learn how to find the gold hidden inside our darkest triggers. Welcome to an exploration of shadow work, a powerful psychological concept that helps us understand our hidden selves and integrate disowned aspects of our personality for personal growth. We've been taught to fear our triggers, seeing anger, jealousy, and fear as bad emotions, often trying to think positive and suppress them, rather than understanding their true message. But this approach is like trying to silence a fire alarm by cutting the wires while the house is burning down. Your triggers are not the problem. They are merely symptoms of something deeper. They are the messengers, the check engine light on your soul's dashboard. They are your disowned shadow parts, begging to be heard and acknowledged, guiding you towards self-awareness. These triggers, often pointing to unresolved wounds and repressed aspects of the self, can serve as valuable clues to the contents of one's shadow. Let's find the gold within these triggers by paying close attention to what bothers you most in other people. This is the key to unlocking hidden aspects of your own personality. You see someone who is arrogant and loud, and it makes your skin crawl, especially when you pride yourself on being quiet, humble, and letting your work speak for itself. But as a child, when you were bold and confident, perhaps excitedly telling a story, you were told, "Don't be a show-off. Be humble." Or who do you think you are? So, you disowned your own confidence, repressed your bold energy, and put your inner performer into the shadow, believing these traits were unacceptable. And now, when you see someone else freely expressing the exact energy you disowned, your shadow screams. It's not him you hate, but the reflection of your own suppressed power. You are angry because he is comfortable using a power that you were taught you weren't allowed to have. Your trigger is a message. It's saying, it's time to reclaim your confidence and integrate this disowned part of yourself. This process of recognizing and reclaiming these parts is fundamental to shadow work, leading to greater authenticity and emotional freedom. Let's try another scenario. You see someone on social media who is lazy, having quit their job to travel, seemingly with no work ethic, and it sparks a strong reaction within you. It makes you angry. You are proud of your discipline, your 12-hour days, your hustle, but that jealousy, that intense emotional reaction, is a fire alarm. As a child, when you tried to rest, you were called lazy. You were taught your value is only in your productivity, and thus, you were programmed to constantly strive. So, you disowned your own need for rest, repressing your inner being in favor of your inner doer, believing that constant action defined your worth. And now, you are a productivity machine, but you are exhausted. And that lazy person you judge, they are a mirror reflecting a part of yourself you've denied. They are reflecting the part of you that is screaming for permission to just stop, to just be. The gold in that trigger, the hidden truth, is your presence and your right to rest. Recognizing these patterns helps release emotional blockages and enhances creativity, allowing for a more authentic and fulfilling life. The shadow isn't just in triggers, it's deeply embedded in your self-talk. When you make a small mistake, what is the first critical voice you hear? Is it truly your voice, or is it the NPC program of a parent, a teacher, or a bully that you absorbed and mistook for your own truth? That voice is the inner critic, the guard of the shadow, a program designed to keep you small and safe by shaming you before anyone else can. But if you observe that voice as the player, you realize it's not you. It's just an echo, just old, dead code that no longer serves your highest good. This is the first great step, to stop identifying with the triggers and programs, and to start investigating them, for they are not bad, they are gold. But this leads to an even more powerful, and sometimes disturbing, phenomenon. If the shadow is hidden in us, why do we see it so clearly in everyone else? Understanding this paradox is crucial for deeper self-discovery and integrating these disowned parts of ourselves, leading to a more whole and authentic life.
Welcome to part 3 of our series, exploring Carl Jung's shadow projection, a powerful tool for self-understanding. Our triggers are not random. They are fire alarms pointing to our own disowned, yet valuable, golden energy. The persona, our social mask, resists this, often asserting, "No, I am not like that. He is the problem, not me." Carl Jung termed this shadow projection, the most powerful concept for understanding your relationships. As the projector shines its golden light, Thomas's shadow is illuminated as a dark, locked box, symbolizing disowned aspects. Jung famously stated, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves." Thomas's persona actively refuses to acknowledge the shadow box, turning the projector away from himself, avoiding introspection. Because the persona finds it unbearable to confront its own disowned parts, it projects them onto other people. You project your own golden disowned confidence onto your colleague, and it appears as their arrogance. You see your own shadow reflected. This is the quantum mirror. The world acts as a screen, and those who trigger strong reactions are reflections of your internal code. A flashback shows young Thomas wanting to hug his father, who says, "Big boys don't need hugs. Be strong." You cringe at an affectionate couple because you were taught vulnerability is weak and big boys are always strong. Young Thomas locks away his vulnerability and affection into the shadow box, becoming disowned. You disowned your own softness, and now, when you witness others expressing it, you judge it as weakness through projection. Returning to Thomas in the coffee shop, his expression is now one of profound loneliness, hinting at unfulfilled longing. What you are truly seeing is the part of you desperately starving for genuine connection. Your shadow is crying out, "I want that too." This is the secret of the NPC life. You live in a hall of mirrors, constantly reacting to your own disowned reflections. On autopilot, you will spend your life battling your own shadow and others, your boss, partner, politicians, and strangers. You will never win this battle because you are fighting yourself, trapped in a relentless shadow projection cycle. But what transformative changes occur when you consciously stop projecting? What happens when you become the player? The player understands that blaming the mirror is unproductive. The player retracts the projection, taking back ownership. As the player, you ask the quantum question, what part of me is this? Where have I disowned my confidence? When you feel that cringe at vulnerability, you ask, where have I disowned my need for connection? Reclaiming that energy. This transformative process, shadow work, is a profound act of reclamation, a rescue mission for lost internal code. When you own your shadow, it no longer triggers you and others. The mirror then becomes just a person seen clearly. You stop reacting automatically and begin to see reality. How do we practically perform this integration? This is the final, most important part. Join us in the next segment as we explore actionable steps to integrate your shadow and unlock your full potential.
We've learned that the shadow is our disowned power, the very essence of our untapped potential. We've come to understand that our triggers and projections are not just random occurrences, but rather crucial clues, breadcrumbs leading us back to ourselves. Now, after much exploration and introspection, we arrive at the final, practical guide, a roadmap for true integration and self-reclamation. So, how exactly do we do this profound work? How do we, as the conscious player in this game of life, begin to recode our persona and effectively reclaim the fragmented parts of our shadow? The answer lies in understanding and applying three fundamental principles, three quantum keys that unlock the path to wholeness. Key number one is what we call the player's pause. This isn't just a simple break. It's the very power you began to reclaim in our last video, the ability to consciously choose your response. You must actively stop being an NPC, a non-player character, who merely reacts instinctively to external stimuli without conscious thought or control. You'll recognize the moment. You feel the familiar trigger. A powerful wave of shame or anger begins to rise within you, threatening to overwhelm. The old, ingrained NPC program, the automatic response mechanism, wants to take over. It wants you to lash out defensively, to shut down completely, or to retreat into old, unhelpful patterns. But this time you pause. You consciously choose to become the observer. You allow yourself to feel the wave of shame, to acknowledge its presence, but you do not become it. You watch it as if it were a separate entity, an external phenomenon. In this deliberate act, you create that sacred, invaluable space between the initial stimulus and your eventual response, a space where true choice resides. This pause is, without exaggeration, the most important step in this entire process. You simply cannot heal what you are not consciously aware of. The pause is the deliberate act of bringing the observer's clear, illuminating light directly to the hidden, often unconscious, shadow's code, revealing what was once obscured. Key number two is the golden question. Now that you have successfully established yourself as the observer, rather than merely a reactor, your next crucial step is to cease judging the feeling that has arisen. Instead, you must shift your focus and begin to investigate it with genuine curiosity and an open mind. You ask the golden question. To the feeling of shame, you might ask, what are you truly trying to tell me? What message do you carry? To the surge of anger, you inquire, what part of me are you diligently protecting? What boundary are you trying to uphold? And when you ask with genuine curiosity, the shame answers. It might reveal, I'm trying to protect you from further pain. I am the inner critic who shames you first, hoping that if you feel bad about yourself beforehand, it won't hurt as much when your boss or someone else criticizes you. Similarly, you can turn to the rage that might erupt from a frustrating traffic jam. a feeling that often feels overwhelming and irrational. You ask it with the same open curiosity. What are you protecting in this moment? What is the underlying need or value that you are trying to safeguard? And the rage answers, revealing its deeper purpose. I am your boundary. I am the part of you that instinctively knows your time is incredibly valuable, and that this situation, this person, has disrespected that fundamental value. I am here to assert your worth. In these moments of profound inquiry, you suddenly realize a transformative truth. These dark parts of yourself, which you might have previously judged as negative or evil, are not malevolent at all. They are, in essence, like children, parts of you that became frozen in time, desperately trying to protect you with the only tools and understanding they possessed at that earlier stage of your development. Key number 3 is the revoicing, also known as integration. The shadow, these disowned parts of yourself, doesn't need to be fixed or eradicated. What it truly needs is to be heard, acknowledged, and understood. Your first step in this integration is to simply thank it for its service. You sincerely thank the shame for its protective service, for its misguided but well-intentioned efforts to keep you safe. And then, as the adult player, the conscious and empowered version of yourself, you revoice its message. You take its raw energy, its underlying intention, and you consciously give it a new, more constructive job, aligning it with your current values and goals. So, instead of automatically shutting down in a spiral of shame, which is the old, unconscious NPC reaction, you now have a choice. You can consciously engage with that energy and transform it. You integrate that energy. You use its underlying drive to take responsibility, to act with integrity. You might calmly state, "You're right, the report is indeed late. I misjudged the time required for the Johnson account, and I take full responsibility. It won't happen again. This isn't weakness. This is immense power. This is true wholeness, where all parts of you work in harmony." Let's try another example to solidify this understanding. Imagine the scenario with the arrogant colleague. The familiar trigger hits, perhaps a feeling of inadequacy or frustration. Immediately, you initiate the player's pause, creating that crucial space for conscious choice. You then ask the golden question. You inquire, what is the gold hidden within this trigger? What valuable aspect of myself is being reflected or disowned here? The answer that emerges is often profound. My disowned confidence, the very confidence you've suppressed or given away. So, you move to integration. You don't react by attacking the colleague, which would be the old NPC reaction. You also don't stay silent and allow yourself to be diminished, which is the persona's way of avoiding conflict. Instead, you consciously reclaim that powerful, golden energy of confidence. You wait for the appropriate moment, and then you use that reclaimed, golden confidence energy. You might calmly interject, "That's a good point, Bill. I'd like to build on that idea by adding." In this act, you have effectively reclaimed your authentic voice from the shadow, integrating it into your conscious expression. When you consistently practice these 3 keys, day after day, moment after moment, a profound transformation occurs. You stop being a ghost in your own life, merely existing. You stop being a polite, often suppressed, 10% fraction of the vibrant, whole person you are meant to be. You are actively reintegrating. You are consciously pulling those fragmented files and disowned aspects from the shadow, bringing them back into your conscious persona. The artificial mask you once wore and your true, authentic self are progressively becoming one, merging into a unified, powerful identity. This, my friends, is what is often referred to as the great work of self-actualization. This is precisely how you stop living an inauthentic life, constantly at odds with yourself. You are no longer at war with your inner landscape. You are whole, complete, and fully present. It's time to stop hiding from yourself, to stop denying the very parts you've been taught to despise or suppress. Because, paradoxically, the parts of yourself you hate the most, the ones you've pushed into the deepest shadows, are often the very keys to unlocking the immense power you've lost.